Hello sir, my name is Agus Nusentius. I'm from Management Department. Without any further ado, let's get into the topic. How we approach Society 5.0. The schema of Society 5.0. The basic schema of Society 5.0 is that data are collected from the real world and processed by computer with the results being applied in the real world. The schema is not new in itself. To cite a familiar example, air conditioning units automatically keep a room at the temperature programmed into the unit. An air conditioner regularly measures the room's temperature, and an internal microcomputer then compares the temperature reading with the registered temperature setting. Depending on the result, the airflow is activated or deactivated automatically, such that the room maintains the desired temperatures. Many of the systems we rely on in society is this basic mechanism. It analyzes the systems responsible for keeping our homes adequately supplied with electricity and those that keep the train running on time. This mechanism relies on computerized automated controls. When people use the term information society, they mean a society in which each of these systems collects data, processes them, and then applies the results in a particular real-world environment. Merging cyberspace with physical space. In the previous section, we learned that the underlying mechanism of Society 5.0 is the merging of cyberspace with the physical space. This section further clarifies what such convergence means and how it can benefit society. Modeling real-world issues. Cyberspace is the electronic world inside computer. Data from the physical space are analyzed in cyberspace so as to derive solutions for managing or improving society. Once these solutions are implemented in physical space, the outcomes are evaluated, which generates data. This data is then input back into cyberspace for analysis, and if there are any problems, further solution will be derived. The cycle whereby society is continuously adjusted and improved is what Society 5.0 is all about. Knowledge-intensive society. Society 5.0 identifies three elements that drive social innovation: data, information, and knowledge. In these sections, we clarify what these three terms mean and describe the ways in which Society 5.0 constitutes a knowledge-intensive society. Data, information, and knowledge. First, what are data? Generally, data refer to tangible and intangible phenomena in the physical space that are represented as numerical values, stats, names, or binary figures, or 0 or 1, telling us whether a thing is present or absent. To illustrate this definition, we will refer to the population of hypothetical municipality. In Japan, the town's population could be worked out by referring to the relevant entries in the National Registry of Citizens. From this source, the attributes of town A's residents, including their gender, household composition, and address, could be found. These facts represent town A's data that are the most basic of the three elements: data, information, and knowledge, that are accumulated in cyberspace. Data-driven society. Society 5.0 is described as a data-driven society. What is data-driven society? We live in a so-called information society. So how does this differ from a data-driven society? The previous section defined information as data that has been processed and rendered meaningful, while it defined knowledge as the general empirical laws extracted from such information. Compared to information and knowledge, data exists at a more basic level. What then does it mean for a society to be driven by this most primitive of the three elements? The data-driven society is crucial for understanding Society 5.0, a point that is aptly illustrated by the fact that both terms appear in the Japanese government growth strategy 2018. Accordingly, this section explores the question in some detail. What is a data-driven society? First, let us see how the data-driven society is defined in the government literature. The term featured in the literature even before Society 5.0 was proposed. For example, it appeared in a 2015 report of the Ministry of Economy, Trade and Industrial Structure Council. This report defines a data-driven society as a society where the above-mentioned CPs is applied to various industrial societies through this digitization and networking of things using IoT. And the digitized data is converted into intelligence and applied to the real world, and then the data acquire added value and move the real world. In this quotation, intelligence equates with the information and knowledge discussed in the previous section. Industry 4.0 and Society 5.0. In November 2011, the German federal government released High-Tech Strategy 2020 Action Plan for Germany. Industry 4.0 Working Group 2013, which outlined a high-tech strategic initiative called Industry 4.0. This vision predated Society 5.0 as proposed in the 2016 Science and Technology Basic Plan by 5 years. Why did Germany pursue a national campaign to promote science and technology in its manufacturing sector? These sections outline the new industrial vision that Industry 4.0 encapsulated. It also compares Industry 4.0 with Society 5.0 as a means of further clarifying the latter. What was Industry 4.0? Industry 4.0 was a national strategic initiative led by the Ministry of Education and Research and the Ministry for Economic Affairs and Energy. To deliberate on the initiative, a working group was formed consisting of actors from government as well as from business and universities. The working group was led by Henning Kagermann, former chairman of SIPSE and president of the German Academy of Science and Engineering, Architect. In April 2013, the working group issued its recommendations in a report titled Recommendation for Implementing the Strategic Initiative Industry 4.0. That's all from me, sir. Thank you.